Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back. Brandon again. In today's video, I want to talk about one of the first pieces of equipment that I bought, which also happens to be one of the most expensive. In fact, outside of the rack that I'm in right now, the Rogue Adjustable Bench 2.0 was the most expensive of equipment that I have bought to date yet. And that's saying a lot because, as you know, I've spent a lot of money on this home gym. So let's get right into it and find out if I have 99 problems and a bench is or isn't one of them. The Rogue Adjustable 2.0 bench is a heavy-duty, multifunctional piece of equipment for any home or even commercial gym, and the heft of this cannot be understated, nor can the build quality. It's made from 2x3 11-gauge steel and weighs a whopping 128 pounds. This thing is super sturdy, and even though it's considered portable, when you're using it, it's going to feel like it's bolted to the ground. The overall footprint of this bench is 54.5 inches long, 17.5 inches high when flat, and 11.25 inches across the pad. The bench also includes a convenient handle and wheels to assist in moving this beast, and although the wheels and handle are a nice touch, I feel like they don't match the heft of the bench, and I would have liked to seen something better here. Now, obviously, this bench is meant to be used in both flat and inclined positions. The bench offers 6 inclined positions, varying from 0 degrees to 85 degrees, and the seat offers 2 different positions as well. I personally only found myself using about half the available positions, though, on the bench. Those would be flat, the first incline for incline bench, and 85 degrees for shoulder pressing. Now, speaking of inclines, the second seat position is a lot lower than most other benches in the category. I would say one is flat and the other is not as flat. So I would expect some more options here also. The pad on the bench is very nice as well. Not only is it firm, but it's pretty grippy. And in more than 2 years that I've owned it, it has held up extremely well with no soft spots, cracking, or anything else. One of the other things that sold me on the bench is the lack of a gap between the upper and lower pads. On most adjustable benches, I'm used to seeing a large gap to accommodate movement, which oftentimes is in the worst spot when trying the flat bench and extremely uncomfortable. But on this bench, you have an almost zero gap, making it seem like it's a dedicated flat bench, which is really nice. There's also a newly released spotter deck that you can add on and be purchased for an additional $95, which I don't own because I train alone in my basement by myself. So there you go. That's the Rogue Adjustable Bench 2.0, and not only is it a great piece of equipment, it's one of the best adjustable benches on the market, and maybe one of the best flat benches on the market as well, because the heft behind it, that zero gap, and the pad itself, it's very similar to what you might see in competition. In fact, there was a point in time where I was looking at switching this out for a dedicated flat bench, but there was nothing on the market that could compete with what I already had. It's that good. And even though there are some cons, like its lack of adjustability and maybe its lack of portability, it more than makes up for it in the flat bench aspects of it and its nice heft and build quality. Now, all that being said, I still can't recommend that you go out and buy it. Yes, so even though this is one of the best on the market, I don't suggest many people go and get it, and that's really due to the bottom line of the cost. So the bench isn't cheap. It costs roughly $550, and because of that heft, which was so good in many of the aspects that we look for in a bench, it's really bad in many aspects when we look for in shipping, being that it's very expensive to ship a big piece of equipment that weighs 130 pounds. In fact, for me, it adds another $150 to the cost, which brings the total investment to around $700. And even though this is a real nice bench, it ain't that nice. For most people, that is. Now, for many people, I think you'll be probably better off looking at something that maybe doesn't have as nice as features or as nice as build quality, and it's going to be a little bit less expensive overall, which will also lead to less expensive shipping charges, which is going to open up some money for you if you're looking to invest in other pieces of gym equipment as well. And I know cost is something that we all take into consideration when building a home gym, but that doesn't mean it's totally out of line for some people. So if money is no object, that this might be the bench for you. Or if you're looking for the best available on the market, this also may be the bench for you. Or if you're like me and when I got this bench was also buying a lot of other equipment from Rogue, like my rack, my barbells, my weights, and I had a total order of several thousand pounds, and I already had to pay shipping on that as is, adding a 130-pound bench really didn't hurt the bottom line, and I wanted something that was really nice and would last, and this definitely has. So it's a great piece of equipment, but for many people, the price point just puts it out of reach. That being said, if you have other questions on this, hopefully I answered most of them, leave them in the comment section below. I'll be sure to get to them. And in the meantime, as always, thanks for watching and stay big.